All right. So before we actually kind of continue, let us have a very quick recap one by one. And if you have any doubts before we continue, please feel free to stop me. So we just talked about the immutability aspect. I said strings are immutable, and all of us know that strings are immutable. That means what? You cannot modify the string once it is created, right? So that means string is immutable, right? And with related to this, we have yet another point that we have not discussed in the previous class, but this should make sense, guys. Just see this: methods operated on the strings does not update the strings in place. We'll talk more about methods, but again, does this particular sentence make sense? Maybe I will show you an example, but before I show you an example, guys, do you understand what does this mean? Methods operated on strings does not update the strings in place. Now that is
What's
because
in
strings are
place? What's the in place?
in place means say for example, you have a particular string and you try to modify some aspects of that particular string. The original string itself does not get modified. That is in place.
So copy is created.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you agree with this, right? So you can have a justification if it is asked as a question with a simple example. How can you prove this? Say for example, I say this is a sentence and then I say like justify this sentence. How do you do that?
We can uppercase a string, and
Okay.
when I check the original string, it will be in lowercase.
Yeah, you can uppercase the string, and if you check the original string, it will be in lowercase. Absolutely right. Any other way in which you can justify this particular statement? You are absolutely right. Any other way, related way?
We can use replace function. That's also a way.
Yeah, replace function. In fact, any function or method that you operate on a particular string, like you will essentially get a copy. So essentially both are different. So can you be much more explicit or specific to this particular differentiation or the proof of concept kind of? Anybody? Okay, so let me just put it in another way. So with your particular explanation, say for example, you have a string and then you do a dot upper or dot replace or something like that. You say that, okay, this is another string and the original string is different. How do you prove that?
I guess they have different memory.
Yes, so you are right. They have a different memory. So again, you are nearer to the point. How do you exactly prove it through a Python operator or a function or something like that? How do you prove that they are part of separate memory?
We should use id constructor.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Right? Maybe you can make use of the ID function, right, and show that both have different numbers or different values, and thus say that both are different objects, and that is because strings are immutable. Clear, guys, all of you?
Yes, sir.
All right, so next point, these points we have already seen. So just a kind of recap, think of strings like a tuple or a list that stores characters. We talked about initialization. We talked about retrieval, how we can retrieve items in a string. We talked about, or we saw how we can make use of the len function to get the length of the string. We saw how we can iterate over the string basically in two ways using the for loop, right? And we saw an example of creating a object from a particular class, right? And we performed a string reversal by subclassing the string class, right? So till this point, I guess we saw in the previous discussion. So shall we continue, or you have any doubts in points 1 to 9? Anybody? Before we continue, any doubts in point number 1 to 9?
What is that reversing thing mean?
No, reversing a string, I just showed with an example to illustrate that everything is an object in Python, and we created a class and then we created an object of that particular class, and then we reversed a string. That was the example we saw. So do you want to see that particular example again and understand it better, or is it fine?
Yeah, fine. Can I see?
Okay, I don't have the example that I've written in the previous class already. I need to write it again. So shall we do that once again?
Okay, if it's not too much time, you do it.
Okay, so let us see that once again. Okay. So the point here is, like I said, everything in Python are objects. Okay, so with respect to that, even string is an object. A string literal is also an object. So only you're able to call methods on the string literal directly, and it works, right? So that string literal itself is an object as well. Now coming to that particular aspect and to understand classes and objects with another example for reversing a string. So let us create a class, right? So you create a class by saying define, and then you specify a class name, say test. Okay, so this is how you create a class, right? So your class may contain properties and methods, right? So in this particular case, let us create a property, right? Say a method, right? So let us create a method. In fact, the method itself will be a explicit constructor. So let us create an explicit constructor, right, of the str class, right? So there is an inbuilt class which is already called as str, and let us try to make use of that particular class str, right, as the parent class, and then let this particular class test that we are defining here, let this be a subclass of that particular parent class, right? So that we have the string functionality in our subclass, right? So that we don't write the entire code once again, right? So how we can achieve that in Python is to subclass a particular class, right? We put it this way: within parentheses, within the class definition. Okay, first of all, now this is not a class, as I don't say this is a class, I say it as a def. So you need to say class. Okay, so this is a class name. So I want to subclass it from string class, right? So what is the class name of your inbuilt string class, guys?
STR, right?
str. So you can say str, right? So this essentially means your parent class is a str and your subclass name is test. So test is a subclass that inherits from your parent class str. All right. Now coming down, right? I can define a explicit method, right? Or in fact, an explicit constructor here. The role of a constructor is to instantiate an object, right? So there is implicit constructor, there is explicit constructor. If you do not specify an explicit constructor, the implicit constructor will be invoked automatically and the object will be created. Now in this particular case, let us invoke the or make use of an explicit constructor of the str class, right? So for the str, right, we can say underscore underscore str, right? So this is how your explicit constructor looks for the class str, right? So essentially we are defining a method, right, or explicit constructor, right, for the string class. And remember our discussion, I said like methods are nothing but functions inside a particular class, right? The difference is methods within a particular class accept a parameter, right? And that particular parameter is the reference to the object that you are instantiating for that particular class, right? So essentially, as a best practice, it is referred to as or called as self, right? Although this could be any name. All right. Now coming here, within this particular constructor, right, let us do a return, right, and return the reverse of this particular object, whatever object is passed, right? Okay, or this particular object is our reference to the current object, right? So let us call that particular current object, right? And then using string slicing concept, we'll talk more about slicing later, right? We make use of colon -1, right, to print the string in reverse, right? Now this is just to save time. I have just put colon -1. Otherwise, you can make use of a loop and then reverse all the numbers or all the characters. That is also okay. Fine. So this is a very simple class, right? Now outside this particular class within main, right, let me create a string, right? By invoking this default constructor __ str, right? By calling the parent function test, right? And within parentheses, right, I can give my string, right? So this is the string, right, which is your current object, right? And you are now doing a reversal of this particular string when this particular object is instantiated, right? And that is stored in X, right? And now if we try to print X, it will give us the reverse of that particular string. All right.
Why do we have to use a class for this? Can't we just directly make a function and call?
No, the purpose of this illustration is everything is object in Python. So I just wanted to emphasize that particular fact. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
so that's why you called everything as a method here, because we are considering everything as an object instead of saying a function.
Come again.
Like you call these as methods, no sir? Well, while typing, you told these are the methods we have done, something like that.
Yeah, these are called as methods. Within a
Because-
particular class, when you say a def, they are methods.
Because this class is an object, so we take it like we say it is a method, no sir?
No, class is not an object. Class is a template for creating objects. So using this particular template, you are creating an object in line number 43.
Okay.
So in line number 43, after the equal to sign, whatever you are using here is an object, right?
Object.
And this variable points to this particular object.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so that was objects, and we saw an example for reversing a string by subclassing the str class. Next is a simple thing, concatenation, right? So what do you mean by concatenation, guys?
Adding two strings.
Yeah, concatenation is joining or adding of two strings together. And how can you concatenate two strings?
By using plus operator.
By using plus operator.
Plus sign.
What?
Pardon?
The comma can also be used, right?
All right, so you can make use of the concatenation operator to join two strings, right? Also, this is also allowed on the literals directly, right? So even if you don't specify a plus operator here on the literal, and if you just specify hello world as two separate strings, right? Those are joined. So that is something about concatenation. Clear, guys?
Sir, can you explain the last example? How is it adding?
Which one?
The last example.
This part?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so when you have two strings separated by a space, it concatenates.
Okay, sir.
Okay, say for example, if I have S as hello and X as world, it's the same thing. All right, now if I have or rather than think print SX, right? It's an invalid syntax here. If I just print that variable, okay, with respect to variables, right? When you print it, you make use of a comma, but when you make use of the literal directly, without the comma, you can print it. But the point here is, say for example, if X is some other type, as it is strongly typed, right? You cannot to a s plus x. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So if it is just string literals, even without the plus operator, you put it as two separate strings, right? They are going to be concatenated, right? And if they are the same two separate strings, either available as a part of a variable or as string literals themselves, right? You can make use of the plus operator to concatenate them. But if the two types are totally unrelated, you cannot make use of the plus operator to concatenate them. All right?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Next, let us talk about the string module, right? So there is a module called as string that you can make use of. So let me def main. There is a module available called as string, so you can import string, right? And this particular module has got so many different constants typically that are available, right? That you can make use of in your programs, right? Some of the constants that we will see are, say, digits, punctuation, hex digits, ASCII characters, right? Let us see all those constants first and what are the values of those particular built-in constants. So digits, punctuation, hex digits, and ASCII characters. So let us print them. So first one is digits. So if digits is a constant available in string module, right? How can you invoke digits? You tell me.
String dot digit.
Yeah. So string dot digits. If you print this,
Sir, define main.
okay, there's a typo. Thank you. To run this, it gives the digits, right, from 0 to 9. And if you say punctuation, it gives all the special symbols that are considered as punctuation in Python. All right. And then there are many constants. These are some of the most familiarly used constants. There is ASCII letters, right? It gives us the ASCII letters, right? A through Z all lowercase and A through Z all uppercase, right? There was one more I wanted to say, hex digits. So guess what hex digits will be? Should be an easy guess. As the name says, hex digits.
Hexadecimal, sir.
Hexadecimal, right? So you will have other values like from 0 to F as well, right? So 0 to 9 and then A to F lowercase and A to F uppercase. All right. So these are some of the constants available in the string module that is very, very useful when you write programs, right? If you want to accomplish certain tasks. And the next point was I just wanted to show you a simple concept with and without comprehension. We'll talk more about comprehensions later, guys, when we talk about lists. But for now, you just take this style that I will be showing you now for granted, right? So we will do it without and with comprehension to print only the letters in a string. So let us do it without using comprehension, right? To print only the letters in a string from one of these particular constants, right? So which particular constant do you think we will make use of? To print only the letters in a string. Let us write a program.
For
Pardon? No.
for, sir.
Huh?
Sir, ASCII letters.
ASCII letters, yeah. So we can make use of ASCII letters and see how we can get this particular problem solved, right? So let us come to test.py. We are already in test.py. let us come here, take this guys out. Okay, so let us have a string, right? Say SSN. All right, then what we do? How do we go about you? You tell me the steps one by one. Can we try with a for loop or a while loop? Say, let us use a for loop. Okay, so for I in
X.
X, what do we do? Can we have a if condition? If what?
If x of I in string dot ASCII letters.
Rather, I can just say I, right? Because I'll be comparing every
Yes.
characters.
Yes.
So can I say if I in what?
String dot ASCII letters.
Fantastic. You can say string dot ASCII letters. What do you do? Print I. What was the question, by the way? Print only the letters in the string. Yeah, print only the letters in the string. So this will print only the letters in the strings. Yes or no? ASCII letters
Yes,
will
sir.
print what? Yeah.
Only letters.
Okay. So what will be the output?
Sir, will it be X, the whole thing? Like,
Okay. Any other guess?
Except the spaces, everything in between.
Yeah. Space is not considered as a part of ASCII letter. Not except, yeah, it is except the space, but without the space, you will have everything. Okay, so let us see if it is that the case, right? So in fact, that is the case. Let us write in a single line for readability.
end is equal to.
Yeah. Right? Now let us do the same using a concept called as list comprehension, right? And a function in string that we will again revisit once again called as join, right? So what you can do is you can make use of a function called as join on an empty string, right? And make use of list comprehension as shown here, right? Don't worry, guys, if you are not now clear about list comprehension technique, right? It's a technique that we will understand much more better in future classes. All right. So what I'm doing here is join, and I have a list comprehension, and within the list comprehension, let me print I, right, for I in X, right, and we have a condition here. If X in string.ASCII characters, we can have that here after the for loop. So that is the syntax. So if I in one second. So if I in is the okay, string.ASCII letters. Okay. So let me have this. Maybe I can put in a variable and then print that variable, or I can print it directly. If I do this and run this, I get the same output. Okay, so this is list comprehension, guys. Maybe I'll tell you like what this does for now, right? And we will understand in more detail with some more examples later. Now this is list comprehension. Now this is elegant style, right? Wherein you can replace this entire way or syntax as seen in the previous 2 or 3 lines in a single line, right? So essentially what you're doing here is within this square brackets, right? You specify what is to be done, right, for this particular loop, right? And additionally, each thing will be done. Here in this particular case, each time I is going to be printed. Each time I will be printed only if this particular case is true. That is the syntax, or that is how this particular comprehension works.
Sir,
Yes.
so the whole join the list inside, the whole thing is a comprehension, sir. The
No,
whole
no, no,
code.
no. Oh, no, no. Only this part is comprehension.
Okay, so the what is join, sir?
Join is, see, it joins whatever is put here with the empty string. So what you get as a result of this list comprehension is SSN College of Engineering as a string that is joined with the empty string, so that you see the output in a readable manner. See, for example, if you don't do this, that is also okay, but you will get as a list kind of.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So instead of these commas and quotations, like it joins all the letters.
Yeah, it puts this as a single string and it joins all the letters.
Sir, what if in the empty string, if you type like a letter like A, B,
Where?
in the empty string, sir,
In the empty string.
like print.
Ah,
There,
here, that will also
yes.
be joined. Okay, let us do that. But before that, there is some invalid syntax, guys. Can you just find out what? Is it with respect to the parenthesis? Yeah. So you
Yes, sir.
said, yeah, you can have anything, right? So that will be joined to that particular string.
Okay. Okay, with each letter it joins that. Okay, okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So only we have put empty string so that we don't want anything specific to be joined within the current string.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that was an example wherein we make use of the string constant available to solve a particular kind of problem, right? Again, with and without recursion here. All of you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was string module and constants within that particular module. Let us talk about methods, some of the commonly used methods, right? Or commonly available and used methods within the string object, right? So for the complete list, you can bookmark this particular URL and refer to the syntax and the functionality for all the methods, right? And you can have this as a kind of bookshelf or a library kind of thing for reference and make use of any particular function when needed, right? Okay. So, guys, apart from this particular string constants in the string module, the string class, the inbuilt string class, right, has got some methods available that you guys can make use of, right? One is called as isAlpha, right? IsAlpha should be an easy guess.
Checks whether it's an alphabet.
Yeah, it checks whether a string is alphabet or whether all the characters within the string, right, is alpha or alphabets, right, and returns true. Right. Similarly, we have isAlpha numeric, right, which contains both alphabets and numbers, right, all returns a Boolean type. IsNumeric to check if the string has got digits, right. We'll talk about format later. So these three are related. So let us see an example, right. Let us start with if alpha, right, and also have an example with respect to checking if a particular string contains all alphabets, right. Again, with and without comprehension. The point here was because I said comprehension. So as we have seen in this particular case, we can make use of comprehension. The point here is even when you make use of a function, right, it could be used within the comprehension, right? So that was the idea, and hence I have put it here. So let us see an example. So I have this, right? X is equal to SSN College of Engineering. So if I can say, let me just see the Boolean value, right? X dot is alpha, right? So what do you think will be the answer, guys? As I've said, what this particular function does, it checks for whether all the characters within this particular string are letters. True or false?
True.
Sir,
True.
x dot no,
False.
sir.
Pardon?
X dot should come.
True, no,
sir.
Yeah. Thank you. It is x dot. Thanks. It is not true, guys, because you have a space. That is not considered as a alpha.
Oh, okay.
Sir, it types X without space.
Yeah. It doesn't type x without space. It just
Okay,
returns
sorry,
true or
print.
false. It prints true or
Okay.
false. It's a bool
Okay, sir.
bool value. Okay. So essentially or ideally, as per our understanding of the definition of is alpha, it should give us false. Right?
Yes, sir.
So if you do this, this is true. Right? So similarly, I've got is alphanumeric and is numeric. Right? So let us check that as well. So it is alnum. Okay. So let us comment out this to avoid confusions. What will be the answer here? True or false?
False,
Is X
sir.
alphanumeric?
False.
Yes.
Will it be false?
It is false.
Sir, one
Right?
doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so space is not taken into consideration in any method.
Any method means?
Sorry, for numbers we have is numeric, no, sir.
Okay.
For like space is not taken into any other consideration.
Space is not considered.
Okay.
Yeah.
For space we don't have any like is space not like that, no, sir.
No, you don't have that.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. So is alphanumeric if I type a numeric also here, right? What do you think will be the answer now?
False.
It's still false, right? Okay. Now, if you see this, is this alphanumeric? If I remove all the space,
Yes, sir.
so this is true. All right. So let us put this back to the original string. And there is numeric as well. Okay, so what is the answer? Is it numeric?
False.
Yes.
It's true, no, sir.
It's true. All right. Okay, so those were is alphanumeric, is numeric. Before continuing, we just wanted to see with comprehension as well. Now, can you tell me how can we do this with comprehension, or in fact any other method? You tell me now. This is false. We want to imitate this, right, using comprehension. How can we do that? Okay, so let me introduce another global function that is available, just like len and all. Len is for what? Length, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just like len, right? For this particular purpose, right? Let me make use of a global function called as all. There is something called as all, which is a global built-in function, and as you can see here, this gives me a kind of help here. This returns true, right? Which is a boolean for all values x in the iterable. Okay, so this is what we want here for this particular case, right? So all returns true for all the values in the iterable. So let us make use of all, and within all, let us have a list comprehension, and here within list comprehension, now you tell me, how do we put it together? With respect to the previous example, that was the syntax. Now tell me if you can remember, how do we, or how can we put the elements together within the list comprehension technique?
Sir, I
Yeah, I or anything, okay.
for I in X.
For I in X, is it just I in X or I and then you say for I in X, right?
For yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So what do you
Sir,
think
for
this will happen? Pardon?
Sir, again, if do we require that, sir? Like if I is
Yeah, you tell me what is actually required. So see, a condition is basically required. Now this list comprehension essentially gives us this entire thing, SSN College of Engineering.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that is not what we want. We want to have true or false depending upon whether this particular contains alphanumeric characters or just alpha characters or whatever, depending upon the function that we give. So
Sir, after X, we have to type like if I.
okay, can you say something like this? Just give me true or false, right? For all the characters one by one that you are checking, can I call is alpha here directly? Because even a single character is considered to be a string in Python. There is no car data type. Okay, so I can say I dot is alpha. Right now, this happens for every character.
That's not alpha, sir. You spelled it a bit wrongly.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, even print.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So this is the list comprehension here, right? So for every character, right, I'm just calling is alpha and seeing whether it's a alpha or not and returning true or false. So when every or all the characters in this particular string is true, it will return true. Otherwise, it is going to give us false, right? So this should ideally work. Let us see. Invalid syntax. There should be for I in X, right?
For I in X.
Okay. It gives us false. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that is using list comprehension on the constants, string module constants, and also on functions. Okay, and then we have the format method. Format method, I guess all of us know pretty well. Guys, format method, what does it do? Starting from our first
Sir,
program,
is
we
it
had been
like
using format method, right?
Print the
when
variable.
we type in the yes, sir, format in X comma Y, the value of
Yeah,
X and Y
correct.
goes to the curly braces, no, sir, in the print statement.
Goes to the appropriate placeholders.
Placeholder, sorry, sir.
Yeah, so it is something like this, and then you specify the string, the value of the placeholder,
Dot format.
yeah, and then you put a dot format. So that was the point here. See, when you say dot format, you are able to invoke this format method directly on this string literal. Okay, so this string literal itself is a object. That was a point for illustration in this particular case, objects and classes. Okay, so you say dot format and then you specify variable. Okay. You can say X is, and then we can play it. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So let us stop here, right, and continue our discussion in the next class. So, any doubts so far with respect to our discussion on the string aspect? Hope things are all clear from line number 1 till line number 24. Just let me know if you have any doubts on line number 1 to line number 24.
So when you are doing when you wrote about print x dot is alpha.
Your voice is little feeble.
So
Can
when
you-
we use that print global function all,
Yeah.
so we got the same boolean return false or true, you know.
Okay.
But when we before that we were doing the same thing with print x dot is alpha. So I mean I
Okay.
didn't get the difference or why we are using all if we already have something which does the same thing.
No, that is just another alternative or option available or supported in Python that you can make use of in case required. Just like our comprehension thing, even without comprehension, you can get the desired result.
Okay, so
Yeah. So
yes,
similarly, like there are certain built-in functions like len, all that does certain thing, and that is available out of the box for you guys to write programs in a much more faster and quicker manner.
yes, thank you.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Any other doubts? Line number 1 to 24. Okay, so if there are no more doubts, let us stop here. So let me stop sharing my screen.